crazy. He's crazy. He's literally control issues. He's crazy.
And I forgot, like the other week, I was going to stop. I was like, no, just don't worry about it, Ryan. And then I just, without thinking, threw this idea at you. And it was like, meh. And I was like, no, forget it. Now I'm really done.
I don't know other ideas I shut you down.
Not bring anything to the table. Almost everything.
What if I do the stream like this, guys? Put these eggs in my nose.
I think it's sexy.
We might actually get some attention.
Well, now you're jumping on that bandwagon.
I was just about to say, or maybe his hunter says more than 2 viewers. Let me know when you're live.
Guys.
Ryan's like, don't take my ideas. I'll burn this thing to the ground, baby. I'll do it. Watch me.
We're live right now. Clint never lets us know anymore either. He's a horrible
I just said it. I just said it twice. I was like, we're going live. We're going live. Ryan's like, and we can move my ideas. Ah!
I'm pretty sure he said, let me get this thing going live. But anyway. I never heard a word live. You know, like broadcasters will tell you, you're live. We're live. So that way
we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
You snap out of the trash. You're like, okay, we're live. No more of that stuff we talk about when we're off air. That's what happens.
I feel like that's what makes the stream starting soon segment funny.
Probably is.
I mean, it's better than Hunter talking about his genitalia.
So. Oh yeah, but you said we can talk about it on here. It's like, no, I'm not gonna talk about that on here. Crazy.
Right? You nuts? What?
No, I'm talking about what we were talking about. I'm not gonna talk about.
Oh, that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I thought we were still quiet. You know what I mean? Like I knew the stream was live, but yeah.
But I'm there with you. You think I'm not there with you, but I am there with you. You know?
I don't know what that means. There.
It's gonna be okay. We'll talk about it after the podcast. Let's clear the awkward elephant in the room.
Offers rescinded. Don't worry about it. I'll put my attention somewhere else.
Okay. Now I feel like I'm talking. Now I feel like I'm talking to my wife. You know.
No, I'm trying to be. Who is it that's like that a lot?
Passive aggressive. I don't know. No.
There's somebody. There's somebody like famous, like a famous role. That's his thing. It's his gig. And I can't remember who that is.
Is it Zach Galifianakis or whatever, Between the Two Ferns? That
maybe.
All right. Let me know when you guys are ready.
All right. Sharing up.
Oh, I'm weak sauce over here.
Oh, you haven't even shared?
Doing that right now.
Wait, you guys share every week?
Ooh. Good times, guys. Good times.
I was thinking about what you said the other day about some of these groups not approving stuff right away. It makes you wonder if we should even be putting our live one on there, right?
Right, like maybe just do videos.
Or just the final product when we release.
Right. I'm just gonna hire you as my live editor. You just go through and put out weekly videos of the podcast. Just chopped up bits live on the YouTube.
Okay.
Too soon?
No,
because it's not an offer.
Right.
Has to be a set offer to be
it's
accepted.
Off the table.
It's like you get fired and you show up the next day for work. So we're gonna start, boss. No, you're done. No, boss.
We already
just need to know.
We already replaced you. That's funny. I was just telling somebody about that today when I was getting my hair cut. I was telling the lady about a guy that I had not show up to work for 2 days and not answer or text me back. Right? And then he showed up. Like, hey, where you guys at? I'm at the Quick Trip we always meet at. I'm like, what do you mean we're working? And he's like, well, I don't see you guys. And I was like, yeah, you've been replaced. We haven't talked in 2 days. It's Christmas season, man. And it's way too high pace for that. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, everybody.
Hey, should I share to the podcast groups? Or is that a little much doing your live podcast on there?
I think you did. Yeah, that's what they do. The ones that have no rules, definitely.
I just shared all of them and just kind of see what happens,
No, don't do that. I already told you there's certain ones you're not supposed to do that.
I don't think you told me which ones.
I know, you said you looked. You said you already shared it.
Right, I've been sharing it. No one said anything to me.
Oh my gosh. That day when I was going to go through and I made the list.
I thought the ones you added were good. And then I thought you said you had a personal set that was not.
Nope,
that was
I told you that's not true. I was even telling you which ones we can and can't. And you were like, I already shared to them.
We are rebels.
If they're on... If they're on our page, I got it covered. And I'm like, okay. So I thought that meant you looked them up. You didn't even look them up? You just shared?
Nah, we've been rebels, baby.
No, I told you specifically. Some of them are just for, like, talking. You know what I mean? For getting approved. You've already been kicked out of the group. Sorry, guys. If you're listening from one of those groups, we didn't mean to do that. Clint misunderstood. There was a communication error. He thought I only added the groups we could share to, when actually I added groups that we could actually learn from, not just share to. So, you know.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with your methods.
Clearly, that's what we're talking about. From pre-podcast.
There needs to be a deal. Facebook needs to give you a deal that you can mark them. You know, like this is my group of people I can enjoy sharing. This is the group of people that don't like sharing and are stingy. You know, that kind of thing.
No, because they're just not meant for that. There are podcast groups or gaming groups or whatever groups that are not meant for promotion. They're meant for learning. Talking back and forth, saying, hey, what do you use? What do you do here? How's this go?
Yeah, for sure.
And if it was a share group, I think that's all people would do, right? Like on the share groups, that's all people do. And so it just gets flooded and you never can get to the good content. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I agree with it. It's, if I don't like it where, like in the gaming community, actually, there's much fewer that are for sharing. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only a couple that are for sharing and a ton that are no, you can't do anything. That kind of drives me crazy. But on the podcast, it was pretty balanced, so I was cool with it.
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready. Rocking and rolling.
Well, let's get this chicken kicking then, boys.
All right.
You can go ahead and start it when you're ready, Ryan.
I don't even know what that means.
Of course you don't, because I'm playing with your brain right now, bro.
Okay.
You don't even know what hit you. You're like, what?
I mean, I can be the show starter today if that's what you're asking for.
No, I would never ask that.
Didn't think so that's what I was.
You would take the glory away from Clinton.
All the glory.
Right.
All the glory. All right.
I shouldn't have asked any questions. I should have just started it when he said that. Just
Tonight.
jumped right in, and he would have been like, "What are you doing?"
What? All right. I guess we'll get this bad boy going. I think it's episode 53, but I'm gonna say it with pure confidence when we start.
Hold on! Don't.
Oh, he's not ready.
No. I'm going to tell you what episode it is. I am ready.
No, it is episode 53. Jeez, wow.
Okay.
Better than that one episode, you know. All right.
Yeah.
5495. Tonight on the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
Bring your bike on your way to the Xbox Live Zone.
That's a spicy meatball.
It's a me, a Mario.
And now, the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
And tonight, guys, we're here with another episode of the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast. This is episode 53, as triple checked by myself, Ryan, and Ryan.
Because I'm equal to two people. I like that one. That's quick.
Yeah. And we got Hunter here with us tonight as well. And for some reason, you guys are frozen on my screen.
Nice. Not frozen on our actual Skype screen.
No, just...
Nope.
Hey, I got to give it to you, Clinton. I was just thinking before we started how, like, very consistent you are with that opener.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's good at
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
you've been so consistent. It sounds the same every time.
Yeah, that's good. You
He's-
love consistency.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
He starts it differently. Like if you listen to the podcast, you'll notice sometimes he'll go, "Hey guys, how y'all doing?" or something like that. There's like he makes up a little line for right before he says
Little
the
variants
podcast line. Yeah, I like that.
Right.
there. Yeah.
That's
Now
called
you got-
professionalism, folks. If you've joined in and you're listening, this is a top-notch podcast. We bring it. We work hard at making it the best in the gaming dad industry, which is a very crowded niche.
That's true. That's true. And I love the fancy language tonight. It just gets me in the mood for professionalism in gaming.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
What really bugs me is the fact that you guys are frozen on my screen, but we're gonna pedal through. You know, because that's Streamlabs for
Okay.
you. Streamlabs always has some kind of glitch going on, and tonight, no different.
Right.
But
At least you can hear our beautiful voices.
Yeah. Now tonight I'm really excited. I got some good gaming news that I will be bringing. You know, I took a couple weeks off, handed the reins over to Ryan and Hunter on the news, and they rocked it like I knew they would.
Yep. Statistics got too high. Clint's got to bring it back to a stable level. I get it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I figured I'd go for the Sling and Mud articles. You know, Sling and Mud politics. That's my style. You know,
Oh yeah, bring it.
getting to the juicy rumors. No,
Definitely.
there won't be any of that tonight, but there is some controversy. Not much though. It's like very light controversy, more of a disagreement. But news is going to be good tonight. And Ryan, what are you hitting us with on the tips and tricks, brother?
Oh, I'm gonna be hitting tips and tricks.
On the tips and tricks.
Yeah.
He didn't give me anything on that, so I guess that means we're not going to know until we get there. Kind of like
it's gonna be the most important game ever played. Put it that way.
it's kind of like going to Disneyland. And then Hunter's bringing us a dish for the win. I know it'll be delish, but Hunter always likes to keep those close to the vest, as they say in poker. And so we'll be hitting that tonight as well. So with that said, before we start, is there
I'm just
anything...
I'm gonna have to interrupt on that. I think Hunter gave us a pretty good hint if you were listening in the intro. Not gonna repeat it, but
Every time I'm very upfront about what I'm going to talk about, Clinton doesn't remember it.
No,
He's
you
like, I have no idea what
The-
Hunter's
the-
doing
the
tonight.
key-
So
I'm like,
secretive.
Clinton, I literally said, we talk about chicken fried steaks. And
Hey.
he's like, we don't know what he's going to talk about today.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's the key, though. That's the key. You don't really buy into the hint. You keep them. You still keep them guessing. See, that's the whole
Yeah.
professionalism, as we say, behind it.
The real question is, does Clint remember what the hint was?
We don't got to get
See?
into all that.
Okay, we got him.
No,
All right.
yeah.
And it's
yeah.
what's funny about it is it even goes with his. Like it was, you
Yeah.
know, both
I
of
think-
them were kind of.
Oh, it's Italian food. There you go. Boom, on it. Olive Garden, feed me now.
At least we have a category, folks.
Yeah. Was there anything you guys wanted to say before we just hop right into the news? Anything at all?
Yeah,
don't
I'm a
think so.
carnivore these days. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Okay.
I jumped over to the carnivore diet, except for I did not give up the potatoes. You can shoot me if you want. That's fine. I just give my mic a good vibration. Don't know how much you guys got of that, but it was a nice whacking.
Yeah, we're
Anyways,
picking up good vibrations.
So I have switched over because I just get so much bloating, you know, not just my fat cells that are bloated, making my face huge and making me weigh 335 pounds, but also the like gut bloating and inflammation and just feeling kind of like, ugh, and I can't get over it, and I haven't been able to get over it for a little while. So I just went all the way down to pretty much just meat. And so it's been pretty interesting, and I'm losing some weight, and I'm going to use that to jump into like a elimination type thing. So I'll add
Okay.
things back and find out what the freak is making me inflame, so I can get my health back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit on that, brother. So,
I've started some intermittent fasting. I do 24 on,
Yep.
24 off.
okay.
Okay.
So,
I'm intermittent
that's-
fasting too,
Yeah.
just because I was doing that before I started the carnivore, and once I started carnivore, that's all I want to eat. Like I can 2 meals in a day, and I'm just full. Like I got to make myself eat again. It's completely different than normal eating. No like cravings now. No,
Right.
like I'm not just feeling hungry. Nope, because it's just protein in there, so it
Right.
like sticks. You know. Yeah.
It's
But
good.
the intermittent
I-
is good. I definitely feel good on it too.
I could
I
definitely.
can't imagine how fast I'd lose weight if I started working out.
Yep.
Hey, I could definitely get into some meat though. I could do that diet. I think.
We
Oh,
know
we
you
know
don't
although,
like some meat.
although, like Ryan, I don't think I'd give up the potatoes. It's the
Yeah, I
it's
love
the
potatoes.
Irish in me.
Potatoes. It's a pretty big lie that potatoes are bad for you. If you do some deep research, they're actually not very bad for you
Well,
at all. Of
It's
course,
don't
the
eat a
deep
ton of
fried,
them.
deep fried French fries.
right?
all
Yeah,
that
and I'm
stuff.
not actually having anything in oil. If any kind of thing that it's like cooked in is butter sometimes, but usually just good old animal fat. You know, carnivore.
Yeah. So he's playing that dinosaur game.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh, yeah, I'll fry up
dinosaurs
a burger
love
with some-
potatoes.
Well, I guess I
Oh,
should say
no,
T-Rex.
I'll fry up a burger with bacon grease, and that's the bomb. You know, you can't go wrong with that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
That sounds like an amazing diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good. Hunter, anything going on for you, brother?
No, like I said, that intermittent fasting, and then I need to get back. Me and Clinton are supposed to start running whenever
We
he's ready, but
It's been this long process of the Tuesdays and Thursdays hit, and we're just kind of silent.
Real
you
quick,
know?
my
Well,
my
I will
intermittent is like what do you call it? I don't know. 8 on, 16 off, or whatever.
yeah,
it
yeah,
is, right?
a lot of people do that.
24/24 seems like that'd be a lot harder. How's that been?
It's pretty tough. I think once I've got past, like, this is my second week doing that. My first week was rough. Like, on the days I was fasting, I'd have to go, like, I went into the kitchen and got the pickle jar out and drank pickle juice. Because, like, I just needed I needed some savory, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm allowing myself to drink, like, juice, if I want juice. Obviously, so my sugar doesn't just bomb or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
But,
that's true.
Because of the 24 on, 24 off, I'm able to eat breakfast every day.
Okay.
Because that's that 24 mark. And so I allow myself to eat that at the same time so that I can take my medicine without making myself sick, obviously.
Right.
So
So it's almost
been
more
working
like
out.
25, 23,
yeah, if you were technical.
which is perfect though. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But it's just basically I'm going a day eating and a day not, and I think I've seen some results in it in the way I eat on the days that I do eat. I eat a lot
Cut
less.
your appetite down.
And when I eat that amount, I still feel guilty. I'm like, man, I feel like I ate a lot, and then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, I really didn't eat much today.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's going good, and I think if I pair a good workout system, and I need to get back on my Switch because I want to do that for you guys. But yeah,
Failing,
it's going
brother.
good.
You're failing.
I did. I plummeted. I've got a very bad self-discipline.
Hey, I think we all here on the podcast have some kind of self-discipline issue, as the
Yeah.
audience can see. So, why hide it?
Right.
Well, I'm going on a clear liquid diet for a procedure coming up Friday, so that's going to be good. Nothing by mouth as of tomorrow morning, so that'd be good. Lose a little water
Nice.
weight doing that, and then into Friday, so should be good. With that said, I want to hit you with some stuff that's going to matter, going to make your week good, and some exciting news coming
I'm ready
down
for
the
it.
pike. Leaks for Geeks. All right, dads and other listeners of the podcast, it is time to cover some news. And tonight we're going to do it 1930 style or 1920 style. See?
Nice.
I don't have a highlighter because I don't think they had highlighters back in them days. So tonight we're just raw. I'm gonna say it, raw dogging this thing right here.
Okay.
No prep. Have the articles in front of me. What's there to
If
prep?
you guys
for?
haven't noticed, ever since Clint won the down the pike argument, he uses it as often as possible. It's beautiful.
Every chance
It's a
he can
good. It's a good classic saying. Okay.
No, it's not. I've never heard anybody use that until you did it.
Sorry. I like to.
But if
I
you're
like to
going with
bring
the
vintage back.
1950s theme, like when you were born, then you can go for that.
Wow. You're calling me as old as my Faja. That's rough. No, I was born in the 80s. Late 80s. The coolest generation that ever lived. All right. Besides that argument, because I think me and Ryan will win. Let's talk about GeForce Now. We talked about it a little bit, I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago or something, that occasion, about how well their launch was, right? They had a really good startup. Well, somewhere along the way, they lost the Activision Blizzard games that were supposed to be included in the GeForce Now. Apparently, Activision Blizzard's library of games disappeared from GeForce Now shortly after the game streaming service was officially launched. It says here at the time, NVIDIA didn't give an actual reason as to why the games were dropped. But it basically came down to a misunderstanding between the two companies. NVIDIA told Bloomberg that the reason the move was a misunderstanding in that it believed the agreement with Activision Blizzard regarding its involvement in the beta of GeForce Now applied to the initial post-launch trial period of service too. The article doesn't go into great details, and NVIDIA doesn't really go into great details of what that misunderstanding was. But from here, from this, it sounds like Activision Blizzard wanted some kind of commercial agreement before proceeding to the full launch for GeForce Now, and that didn't happen, so the publisher pulled their games. Which makes sense, I guess, if they were under the understanding that we'll let you use it till beta, they probably just wanted to rehash, reconnect.
Right.
Johnny?
I mean, it kind of sounds like you'd probably have more information from GeForce's side if it was a permanent thing. So it kind of sounds like maybe it's still trying to be worked out, or am I reading that wrong from what you're saying?
No, you're exactly correct on that. GeForce Now, or NVIDIA, has came out and said that they hope to fix the issue with Activision Blizzard, and bring the games back, because we're talking huge titles like Call of Duty that people may have signed up for this. Of course, Overwatch, Warcraft, of course. But then other games like Shadows Die Twice, the Sekiro game, that's the Sekiro game, and some other things. So, what is up, Johnny? Love seeing you in the stream, brother. And you're actually out. He's actually out setting up at a tournament right now, or I guess you're probably already set up, ready to go. So yeah, hope you're doing good, brother.
Icy chilla.
Love
Hey,
that
we
guy.
all need some.
I actually. The
What
triple whammy.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we need some training, Johnny. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever get some free time, we are all just terrible
At
Me and-
at everything.
Hey, I got to give Johnny credit. I'm gonna throw it out there real quick. Me and Ryan were able to catch him one night when he was playing with a friend of his, and he invited us into the group, and his friend was very into the game. Like, you could tell the group he had was all about winning, and Johnny
Oh, yeah,
was
it was
just
serious.
Johnny was very humble and very nice to us, very generous in how he treated us while we gamed with him and his buddies, and was definitely really cool. Loved
Probably
it.
got off and he told his friends, "Hey, man, you guys were jerks. Those guys are handicapped. You just didn't know."
Especially that tan one,
Yeah.
Mm.
I actually had
He
some
said he's in
people ask
Cali
me this
DreamHack.
week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's in California DreamHack. Okay.
Nice.
Love
He said he's drained. He's walked 23,000 steps
Good Lord.
today. I
Jeez.
guess.
And I saw you stayed up till 3 a.m. before you had to catch your flight. So that's rough, too.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's really rough.
I had a couple people actually ask me this week about that. They were asking me, okay, so does this mean, because I talk about Shadow. Shadow has its own issues, but I use Shadow because I'm a broke dad. And I got to use Shadow so I can keep up with my other gaming friends. But they asked me, so does that mean Activision is just going to do their own thing and they're going to pull out of Shadow too? Because it's like, is this all cloud gaming that Shadow's not going, or that Activision Blizzard's not going to be in? And I realized people still don't really grasp what Shadow is when I heard that, because Shadow is not cloud gaming. Shadow is because they call it Shadow Gaming, right? And it is built and designed around gamers.
It's under that category, but it doesn't really work
Right.
in that sense. Yeah.
Right. It's a cloud PC. Just so you guys understand, cloud. If you've been thinking about Shadow and you've been thinking about how will that work for gaming, and maybe I can afford $25 a month, which is going to be $12 a month here very soon for the entry level, which is still a 1080 not TI, but 1080 or higher graphics card. So it'll still play all the games that are out for $12 a month is what's coming. But and we're not sponsored by them. It's just something I use. So I know it's a popular thing, and they're still growing. So we talk about it a little bit on the show.
It's easier for you to relate and talk about it.
Yeah, it's a PC, guys, meaning it's an entire PC. So anything you can get on your PC, you can get on Shadow. They're not licensed with anybody. They're not contracted with anybody. They're not working with, specific gaming companies to say, hey, can we have you on our platform? Because they have no platform.
Yeah.
They are just a remote contact between you and a powerful gaming PC. So it's very simplified compared to the idea of these cloud streaming services where you're paying for the games and for their list of games. It's not like that. If you can get it on PC, you can get it on Shadow.
So for GeForce Now, it does play the PC games and you play with the PC community, but it's set up more in the way that maybe you've seen an Xbox or a PlayStation right now work.
Yeah, they're licensed.
You have your catalog there, but you don't have a physical window. It's not running a Windows operating system.
Right.
Yeah.
And so on Shadow, you can run anything you run on your PC, right? So you can have your Blizzard Activision launcher. What's that called? Battle.net, and then you can have your Epic Games launcher, and you can have Steam. You have it all. So
where GeForce Now is literally you're only doing your gaming from that. You're not.
Yeah, it's like Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's I think the big deal of Blizzard actually having the ability to pull out their games. I think that NVIDIA, the fact that they make graphics cards, they've worked with, game companies in the past. I don't think this is something that'll stay. I think Blizzard's just saying, hey, we only agreed to go until beta, and
I get it because
let's redo our deal.
And if you know Blizzard Activision, they have their own launcher, right? They make their own games and they have their own launcher. So it's not like Steam or some other. What's the other one that you can kind of host them all on? You can host them all on your on the actual. I think the Ubisoft or something like that. You can actually open any of the games from there, even though you're not buying them from there. But that's not how. What do you call it? That's not how the GeForce is set up. So they're not. They would be, in a sense, competing, right? Because you've got the launcher that already exists for all the Activision and Battle.net stuff. If you're a PC guy, you know this.
Right.
So they've got their own launcher that carries that stuff in it. So for them to let another launcher do it, it's not like they just let everybody. You can't get those games on Steam, right? You can't get Call of Duty and these kind of things on Steam. They've been pulled from Steam. I think maybe one of the old ones is still on there.
And they do have certain rules. They do have certain rules with cloud gaming too. They don't really like those third-party systems because people can get in and hack people. They can do other things through those type of channels, and they can't locate the IP because the IP's at a different server. If that makes sense.
Right. So they want to keep
for
everything
them, it's a security
wrapped up.
thing, and
Yep.
So I get why they're doing that. But yeah, so that's going on with GeForce Now. But the hope is that they can get that back on, especially for the people that have went in, and that may have been the reason they signed up for the program. But
it's just like, I might be wrong, but you probably can't expect to see Fortnite on there, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Fortnite, they do the same thing. They have their own launcher. They have their own, what would you call that? Ecosystem, right? In a way. They're not just making a game.
I actually haven't checked to see if Fortnite or games like that are on there. I mean, it could be.
That's just a guess for me. It's the same kind of vibe to me, so I doubt it.
But, they are on Xbox and PlayStation and on mobile, so I guess we'll see. But in other news, No Man's Sky is a game that's kind of made a resurgence within the last year with some of its awesome updates, and the game itself has changed. You can actually get on and play with your friends now, which is a huge step in the right direction for them. Well, they're going to be releasing their next monthly update, and this one's going to be kind of weird. It's going into a kind of a bizarre space fantasy. They're releasing this new patch called Living Ships update, and it's coming out across PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and it's free. It doesn't cost once you've bought the game, it doesn't cost you anything to download it. in a press release from Hello Games, revealed that these living ships can be discovered by players as galactic eggs found across the galaxy, capable of being nurtured into fully flyable spacecraft that look and move like nothing else in the universe. So that's going on.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what flashed into my mind when you first said that? They're going to have a very interesting edition this time. I thought Rick and Morty universe.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
No Man's Sky.
They could.
It
I mean, they
fit
could.
the game at all.
I kind of could. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have the Plumbus hanging out there, but you definitely have some interesting things flying by.
The Plumbus.
Yeah. God,
one of my favorite episodes is when they have the how it's made.
Oh yeah.
And it's the Plumbus. First
Yeah,
they take the Plumbus and they take the and they just you could tell it's just all made up words.
Oh,
they
yeah.
take the Chingus. It's like what in the world?
So in addition to this update as well, they're going to introduce more points of interest for the player, and they're also going to have more NPC encounters to liven up the exploration of the game. And then also just other numbers of quality of life improvements. So
nice.
Yeah, that's something like I feel like I would like to jump on PC. It's just I'm not ready to make that plunge.
Right.
There's other games to buy right now.
Well, when you do, hit me up because I do want to jump back into that.
Yeah, I bought it back on PlayStation when it first came out, and it was like, wow, what a disappointment. What a waste of money.
Yeah, I remember. I remember you talking about that when they first started expanding on it. And we talked about how much of you thought it was going to be a great game, but now everybody's starting to play it, and you're already over it. It's one of those kind of hard to deal with scenarios sometimes in gaming, especially with the way they release games now. Well,
thank goodness, though, that you have, that's like we talked about the other day. They do keep changing games, so you don't buy a... Sometimes you buy a $60 turd, but now...
It has a chance to still, yeah. And that's, I think, a good example of something that is being polished. And, hey, shame on them in the beginning for, promising too much and not delivering, but they have stuck to their guns and made it right by the fans. So that's
I'm glad to see that they're following through.
Yeah, because they could easily been like, nah, not worth it.
Yeah.
So in other news, as it comes to movies, I want to talk about this game, or this movie, that's based off a game. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Sonic the Hedgehog. It's doing pretty good.
The blue Pokemon.
Yeah, doing good. Last year, it was hands down just a huge debacle back in April of people reacting to Sonic. 57 million they spent it made 57 million on opening weekend. And I don't remember how much they actually spent on...
It was, if I remember right, it was around 8 million.
Was it?
They spent just on redoing Sonic, yeah.
Yeah, so they redid Sonic. It's doing really good right now. It's actually one of the first games game movies that have done really well.
Which, one of the reasons I think they did well is not just because they made Sonic better, but because they actually listened to the fans go... What in the world did you do to Sonic? And then they said, well, we blew it. And they went back and changed it. It's not just the fact that it looks better, so now people want to watch it. I think there's an appreciation in the gaming community that's going, dang, they really cared. Like, they went and redid the movie. It was ready to release.
Oh, yeah.
There were trailers coming out. You know what I mean? And they said, no, we're going to pull it. We're going to fix it. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that in my lifetime.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was a good move. And it kind of got that rapport
take some notes
with their peeps. Yeah, they got a 64% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and had a built-in fan base that helped Sonic beat other gaming films like Tomb Raider, Warcraft, and Angry Birds, the movie. Sonic also had a big name actor appeal, with performances by Jim Carrey and James Marsden. Anyway,
and Jim Carrey's kind of been out of the circle, so that's kind of a big return. It's kind of a different kind of a...
That dude
I like that.
Has gotten weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely gotten weird.
I love me some Jim Carrey, but dude, he has gotten weird.
But I think those comedians like that are just... They deal with some different things because they've delved into some weird things. Because they're almost like method actors in a way.
I think he's really, really smart. Just like Robin Williams. He's got a high level of intelligence that takes a different spin on how you got to process life and things that happen, and kind of analyze what's going on, and they think of things differently.
Yeah. But overall, critics are saying it's a good family fun film that has a good message of friendship. Definitely something fun to go watch with your kids. And, you know, I think that's all you expect out of a movie like that. But it is nice to see that the fact that they chose to spend money to fix the problem and are now having
I wonder if they
success with
made it in a sequel type manner. Do you see
know.
anything on there that says anything about that?
No. But I haven't looked up, you know, I haven't went and did other research. I just kind of want to go watch it and see what happens. Something I like to
I don't want to know too much about it either. Yep.
Yeah.
We can go together. I'd be down for that.
That'd be quick. That'd be quick. That'd be cool. I don't know what queed is, but, you know.
Maybe sweet, because you're talking about the girls going.
Yeah,
you know,
that'd be
be sweet for them.
Yeah, that could be a new word right there, you know.
Yeah.
Cool mixed with sweet, a little queet.
Oh yeah, that's coming down the pike real quick.
No, I don't like that word. It's a little too close to some other stuff.
See, your dirty mind.
It just doesn't sound like a polite word, especially when you're talking about your daughters.
That's so queet. No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the movie, not my daughters. Jeez.
I know, but it's in the same concept. You're saying it's going to be queet that your daughters are going to a movie together.
Hey, that's going to be the title of the episode, guys. Episode 53. That's so queet.
He does stuff just to spite me.
Well, we were talking about Activision Blizzard earlier, and now I'm returning back to them. And I promise it's not because I'm just a fanboy. It's really
because you're the fanboy.
No, this one's pretty cool. I think you're gonna like it because we talked about this recently. There is some leaks that suggest Blizzard and Netflix may be doing an animated series together. Netflix is working on an animated show based on both Overwatch and Diablo game franchises, according to President of Activision Blizzard, Nick Van Dyke, who has listed the projects in his LinkedIn profile. According to the said profile, Van Dyke is an executive producer of Diablo, a TV adaptation of Blizzard Entertainment's IP, rendered in anime style, currently in pre-production for distribution worldwide through Netflix. Nice. A little further down, the resume also refers to an animated series based on Blizzard's Overwatch franchise. While Netflix isn't explicitly mentioned here, we can take an educated guess that the streaming service is involved, given that it's working on a similar adaptation of the Diablo IP.
I wonder, when they say in anime style, do they mean like that kind of animation?
Maybe.
That would be interesting to see Diablo in anime style.
Yeah, that's weird. That'd be really weird. Yeah. In a way. I mean, they could definitely get gory with it, and it's still cool.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, that's really dark and very, you know, can be a very disturbing.
I'm excited
universe.
for that, man.
Yeah. So, I think Overwatch to me would work even better because it already kind of has that style.
It just has it has a very diverse storyline too. Overwatch, because you can kind of build a series off of each character, like kind of a, you know, one of those that follows each person's pre-story, or I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So
it'd be one of those shows that halfway through, for some filler episodes, they go back in time.
Yeah.
To talk about other people's story. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they need to do it right, and I always say go with your strongest story first. That's what I think they did wrong with Warcraft. I think they started with the wrong story. They literally started with the beginning of Warcraft, and I always thought they should have started with their best story, which was the Lich King story, and then you could always backtrack. But give someone that classic human becomes a bad guy. You know, that White Knight becomes the bad guy story, Darth Vader, like, you know. That's the better story to me. So we'll see if they do it right with the Diablo series and the Overwatch series. But last on my list, I wanted to talk a little bit about Super Smash Bros. I did say it's a me and Mario, and it was referenced to this. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Next Tournament is going to be doing a special 90s themed tournament this weekend that will limit the range of fighters available to those who debuted in the 90s.
I like it.
Yep, the available stages will also be pulled from 90s games. This will disqualify plenty of fighters and stages who were first introduced before and after the 90s, but you'll be able to use Sonic, Pikachu, Cloud, King K. Rool, Mewtwo, Sheik, Ridley, and many others. A full list has not been made available, but longtime Nintendo fans can look forward to representing their favorite games of the era. Players will be able to unlock spirits depending on their performance in the tournament. This begins February 21st. In Japan, at least, start time will vary depending on your time zone and will run for 3 days.
If that's not a Delirious Dads tournament, I don't know what is. I mean, that's the exact age range of, the guys that grew up our age and now have kids.
Right.
They got their stuff from the 90s. That's the games they grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yep. The original Super Mario Smash Bros. Itself, it came out back in 1999. So barely hit the 90s, but, we'll still consider it that. Now the current Super Smash Bros. Is the 5th mainline game in the series. So go check that out. I looked it up on Twitch. You can just find the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate channel, and I believe that's where you're gonna watch this stream from.
Okay.
But very exciting, and you can probably go to their website to find out more on that
Do
tournament.
you even Pokemon, bro?
Oh yeah. Claire's into Pokemon, so we've been watching the Pokemon cartoons.
You said Mewtwo wrong.
Oh.
And he said
come on.
Pikachu. He said
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
I always call it Pikachu.
That old Pikachu and Mewtwo.
Pikachu.
Moto.
Are you guys playing Pokemon in here?
Okay, so Mewtwo I didn't know, or Matu, or Mewtwo, whatever. Okay.
Mewtwo.
Oh, I never had Mewtwo on my card, so there you go.
Because he was a rare.
The best freaking thing you could get. Yeah.
Right.
He was next to a Charizard.
So I never had him. You're a Charizard.
Did you never watch the shows?
No, I never
It's
watched
okay,
the
Hunter,
shows. I only
Hey.
played the card games a little bit. So
What's
I
up,
wouldn't-
Justin? Yeah, we know we're frozen. It's Clinton's fault, but he keeps blaming on Streamlabs.
No, it's Elsa's fault. Okay, let's just be honest.
Yeah,
Let
I don't
it
know
go.
what. Oh, I like that because we're frozen. Wow.
Yeah.
Clint, put that in your books. That goes on the B-roll.
Thanks, Ryan. You're
I'm
being
down
so
to play
nice
tonight, Justin. I don't know about these old geezers, but I'll play something with you tonight.
Yeah.
I was planning on it, but I think I'm going to be on wife hangout time since I've been stuck upstairs with the sick kid for 3 days. Haven't seen her. I think that's what's going to happen. I may
Glad
still
you
get on, but it
finished
might be a
that
little later.
sentence.
Well, Hunter, I will probably be on, brother. Don't let Ryan ruin your party.
Okay.
Okay. Ryan,
Actually, the fact that I'm not on and you are is probably what's going to ruin his party.
I don't think so. But what is going to ruin this party is the next segment. Ryan, it's your turn, buddy.
Dun, dun, dun.
In a world of Easter eggs and cheats, it's time for what they don't want you to know.
I love the fact that I am doing the segment for tips and tricks, and the category that I'm going to be talking about, which I said is the most important game you've ever played or ever will play, is the game of life. Yep, that means real life. So we're going to be talking about a few little tips and tricks coming from one fat man to another, or you might not be fat, you may just be completely out of shape, kind of one of them limp noodles, because all you do is game. And you've got no, hey, let's go on a hike, and you're like, don't know if I can. The answer is not, I don't know if I want to. If the answer is, I don't know if I can, this is for you guys.
Yeah.
No matter the size.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
get
love the
what you
fact
went
that
with
I'm
that.
coming in, I love the fact that I'm coming in right before Hunter, who will be talking about Italian food, which will probably be high in carbs and flavor. I'm going to be talking about some tips for gaming and keeping your manly figure, or
okay.
getting your condition up above the level where it's at now. So this is tips and tricks for real life. I got a couple for you. I'll kind of start off with, for myself, I've started doing some of these, and then I looked at this list, and it's got some cool ones too that I pulled up here on. Let's see what it was. This is not one of our normal sites because it's not one of our normal discussions. The site is, wow, I'm going to pull a Clint here. It is Wayne Harrell, and this is on zelix.com. Okay. And so he must be he's a blogger on Zelix is what I'm guessing.
Okay.
Wayne Harrell, thank you for this content that you gave. We are sharing it. But the first one is just some kind of regular tips. One thing that I've been doing, because I have been trying to lose some weight, which I talked about at the beginning, and trying to get my, inflammation and stuff under control. But really, I'm just out of shape even more than normal. Not just my weight, but this last Christmas season for me, for those of you who are new, I do Christmas lights. This last Christmas season for me, we had some extra management that we hired, and I worked in the office and in the truck a lot more than usual. So usually I'm out working at least half the time, and then in the truck half the time kind of thing. And I'm even on the roofs some. This year I was on the roof like twice all season. And then I was probably in the truck or in the office 80% of the time. And boy, did I not realize how much of an effect that was going to have on me. Season ended. I gained weight, went above my normal high. Like I usually sit around 315, 320. I got all the way to 338, folks. Ooh. And I noticed for sure in my actual conditioning, because I went right back to walking with my wife, which I was doing before Christmas season. And it was like, whoa, did this get longer? I didn't even realize how much it got me, and it did. Yeah. And so I have made some changes. One thing I do, because I'm not all the way on the full workout mode yet, is I just take breaks during the day. Whether you're a gamer or you work at an office desk, this applies to both of you. If you do a lot of sitting, it's not good for your body. You may not have the time or dedication yet to go do a 30-minute workout once or twice a day, but you can take breaks. Say you get up to go to the bathroom and get a drink. Actually do a little quick 5-minute high heart rate exercise. Just get your heart up once an hour or so. Get your heart rate up. Make sure you're kind of breathing a little bit heavy, and then go back to whatever it was you were doing. That actually keeps your mind sharper. It helps you focus on your gaming or your work at a much higher level when you have a little bit of endorphins going and stuff like that. And then it'll help you actually get to where you can work out without it kicking your butt. It's helped me already. I'm feeling a lot better, and that's all I've been doing right now. I just take a break. I go hit some push-ups on the couch back behind me, do some sit-ups, maybe kind of run in place, little things that seem like nothing, but if you're overweight and out of shape, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I just do that for about 5 minutes. Boom. That's tip number 1. Exercise more if you can, but if you can't, that's going to help you a ton. Another thing I started doing is taking breaks, because even when I'm not gaming, and we're talking to gamers, there are some gamers out there, you're streamers or whatever you are, and you're content creators, and you may game 8 hours a day. That is your job. And so I do other work at the computer, graphic design. Clint does work at a computer, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about too. And we get up, and I started stretching too. So when I do those exercises, I also do some stretching, and that has made me feel a lot better in the stiff body type thing, right? My back and neck and stuff is not as tight, and so stretching every hour and a half or so goes a long ways when you're gaming. What do you do at work, Clint? Do you ever get any breaks, or do you at least have some times you got to walk to different places?
Sometimes I'll get up and go see patients and stuff in their rooms. For me, especially if like we've been out gaming, I know we, doing some gaming, I'll get up and actually walk if I start feeling tired. I got to get up and walk around a little bit, to keep myself more alert at the computer. So I get some of that, but
right.
It'd definitely be good if I went and maybe took like at lunchtime, do a little jog. My issue is I sweat pretty quickly. So
gotcha.
It's one of those deals of I don't want to get all sweaty in my scrubs.
Yep. See, I work from home, so that hasn't been a problem. Most of the time I'm working from home if I'm at the desk. And the same thing for most of you gamers. I don't think it's probably a huge deal if you're sweating a little bit. You're in an AC house and you can cool yourself down, have a fan on you when you get back to your game or something if you need to. The other thing that I've been starting to do before I get onto this list is I practice good posture. So I'm practicing on like not just slouching over on my computer and stuff like that. So I'm trying to sit up straight, have me some lumbar support, and if you can afford it, get you a better chair. It's going to go a long ways. That's something I haven't done because I can't afford it, but I have worked on my posture, and it makes a difference for sure in how my back feels and stuff if I'm at my desk for a long time. I'm gonna hit on this list.
I'm horrible at the whole. Well, I was just gonna say, when gaming, you'll see me on stream. I'll just start sinking down. I'm horrible at slouching.
Yeah, you kind of. What what do you call that? You
I'll
kind of slide back
like
in your
I'll
chair
kind of
more.
like lean back like this and
Right.
Yeah, I was
just kinda
gonna
start
say I
sliding.
slouch like this, like I am right now.
Right.
I lean forward.
Clint,
Yeah, I'm not a
Clint
lean
lets his
forward.
butt
I'm more of
slide
a
out.
yeah. I slide kind of out,
Yep.
and then my neck and shoulders start
Yep.
kind of crunching in on themselves.
Big
And then that's
Yep.
when I'm like, oh, I need to move. I need to get back up.
Different bad postures are still bad. If they're bad postures, it's bad posture. We still gotta just work on sitting up more straight and having some back support if that helps you. And I think it'll go a long ways. This guy has a list of 25. We're not gonna hit every one. I'm gonna hit the ones that I think stand out. You guys interject as much as you'd like. This one I didn't think about. I wear glasses. Didn't cross my mind. But he said one of the biggest reasons you have eye strain is because when you're playing games, especially first-person shooters, you're actually doing your best not to blink. Even though you're not thinking about it, you're in a high-tense situation, and in real life, you would be trying not to blink because you don't want to miss anything that could cause you to die, if that makes sense. And so when you're playing those games, you're not blinking. And so it's not necessarily just the screen that's giving you eye strain. It's the intensity of the game that's making you not blink. So your eyes are getting too dry. He said it'll make a big difference if you just put some, if you see your eye doctor and have him write you a prescription for good eye drops, and then use those eye drops while you're gaming, especially if you're doing this as a career. It'll make a big difference on your eye strain. There you go, Hunter.
Yeah, and I
You wear
have
contacts,
seen.
Hunter?
I used to. I don't anymore.
I
That
did
was just
see
an all gig. This isn't really eye drops.
a coworker of mine bought some gaming glasses. I guess she said that it was famous with gamers. That kind of yellow tinted look.
Yeah,
And
it takes the blue light
takes
away.
out the blue light out of the computer screen to help with eye strain as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
You know, athletes
guy-
started wearing those. There's the
Oh, really?
OSU football team. The coach got them all blue light glasses so that at night before the game they're not staying up too late, because what that does is take the blue light away, and it keeps you from staying up because your brain shuts off with the lower dim light. So
Yeah, actually, some of the phones that are coming out right now are coming out with less of a blue light level on purpose altogether.
Yeah.
not
Apple
just on
has a
filter.
night mode
Yeah, you
that
turn
takes
the
all the
night
blue
mode
light
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it takes all that.
Yeah,
out.
all of them do. You just a lot of people don't set it. You know, they don't turn on that blue light filter. Some of them you can turn it up too, and make it almost like brown or yellowish looking, like you're saying. He mentions actually getting glasses that have as much low glare and shine as possible. A quality low glare glasses, he says, will make a big difference. Just like we want a low glare screen without reflection, that'll help the strain on your eyes.
Okay.
Invest in a chair. He hit on that real quick, which I agree with. He said use an ergonomic mouse and keyboard, which definitely helps. Kind of depends on what kind of gaming mouse you like, though. Sometimes you're going to go with functionality if you're a serious gamer before you'll go with comfort. But a lot of the serious gaming mouses or mice are still they're geared to be ergonomic too. So that's kind of a good thing because they know you're going to be playing a lot. Drink
Right.
plenty of water. Something that's silly people don't think about when they're doing a desk job or playing games. They don't think about hydration. Well, guess what? Your body still needs water. So you need to have a bottle of water or a cup with you pretty much all the time. So anytime you even think about being thirsty, you can hit it. And that's kind of a double positive. One, it helps keep you hydrated, which is great for all around health. Two, it'll make you get up and go pee, which is good. You need a break every once in a while. So get up, go to the bathroom. That'll remind you to stretch and things like that. If you're not drinking pee, you might be able to last longer than you should be sitting there. So it should help give you a little bit of a reminder.
Right.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, he hit on stretching too. I agree, buddy. I agree. Okay, this I never heard of. Okay, this is called C-bands. This is basically a bracelet, and there's different brands that are referred to as acupuncture wrist bands. They actually help with motion sickness for people that get motion sickness in games. If you're playing VR games or Oculus or even just some intense games on one of them wraparound style screens or multiple screens, you'll notice you might experience a little bit of vertigo or sway, right? These go on your wrist, and they should help you with that. He also recommends ginger. They make ginger gum, or if you don't mind chewing on a little piece of ginger here and there, it'll help you really well with your feeling motion sickness while playing video games.
So I wonder if that bracelet actually like sticks you, or if it's just a point that it pushes on.
No, it's
It push on
it's just
like
gonna
the
be
point of
yeah. It's more like
like
it's more
what,
like
a pressure
acupressure.
point pressure points.
I think Natalie had one of those for pregnancy.
Oh, really?
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know
They say it
Mikkel
helps
did.
with the gaming.
Mm-hmm. With Nigel.
Always use anti-glare screens. I already said that too. Let's see here. One thing I thought about that I think would be good if you're wanting to think about your posture and also just a little bit of exercise and staying mobile is maybe playing a portion of your day on one of those exercise balls, right? Kind of is going to work your core, keep your stability up, things like that. I think that would be worth doing. He said if you do play a variety of games, and some of the games you can use a controller on, because this is specifically kind of talking about PC guys, use a controller when you can instead of just mouse and keyboard all the time. We all know it's proven that mouse and keyboard, that position, causes a little more problems, and also having a variety in what your hands are doing will lessen the chance of you having carpal tunnel and problems like that. Rotate your neck, which you'll see me do right here on the podcast. I'll pause my mic sometimes, give my neck a good stretch, rotate it because it gets kind of stiff from sitting still looking at the screen. Same thing when you're gaming. He said it seems like a small thing, but it'll help you be able to go longer and feel better when you're done. Sleep, obviously.
Which is a harder one, I feel like, on gaming. For dads, at least.
Oh, yeah. This is a good tip that I never thought about. He said you want to stare at a bright colored distant item. Maybe something outside of your window that's in the distance. You want to do that every 30 minutes. That will help big time with your eye strain, and when you feel like your eyes are kind of having trouble seeing the screen. If you stare out, it'll help adjust your eyes and use those other muscles that are made for long distance.
Okay.
Because we're not really meant to only be looking close, and so that's why they start straining. So if you just take every 30 minutes and kind of look out your window and focus on a couple items out there, and then come back to gaming, that'll help your eye strain too. I thought that was a great tip.
Yeah, that is good.
A lot of these things I don't, do. Here's one that I know Clint needs to do or should have done in the past. Have good quality headphones that have good sound so that you don't have to have it so loud. Turn your volume down a little bit and save your ears. I always joke with him about not being able to hear things.
That's just the fact that I can't hear in general. I don't think it's the headphones. I think it's just, I lived around a mother that was deaf, so, she played everything super loud. And so my ears just adjusted.
That's true. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
So it could be kind of your whole life you got a little bit too loud.
Right.
The decibels.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
My mom's always worked at Kicker, which is audio speakers, so I am too a little bit hearing impaired.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like I got to have that sucker blaring or it's not enough. It's not that I
know
couldn't...
I go over to Clinton's house, and he has either a movie playing or a game playing in the living room, and the girls are asleep, and he's got that thing so loud, and I'm like,
yeah.
Should we turn this down a little bit? He's like, hey, what do you mean? It's barely on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guilty of that for sure. When I'm playing a game, I do like it loud, but when I'm watching a movie, especially an action movie, I have the surround sound, and I want it loud. I want my sub shaking the floor, and I'm just that way. And I used to be that way with Rory. She's 6 now. That's our youngest. And she was fine. She could sleep through it. And then Tiff slowly started having me turn it down until she woke up from anything. And so I've been having to really get on to her when she tells me to turn it down with this new baby. And I say, you remember, you've told me that I was right and you were wrong. And that doesn't happen very often. But you're the one last time that made me turn it down, and then it started causing problems.
Yep.
So I'm not going to turn it down.
Yep.
And I can tell when I'm not here, it's all quiet when she's sleeping. And I'm like, no, don't do that to me.
You got to be normal. Talk at a normal level.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you have company come over and the baby's sleeping, they're going to wake up.
Yep. Especially the young ones. Just startle.
Time.
Wake up from everything.
They fight. They're already fighting their sleep, like, what's going on? What I miss? Nothing. Go back to sleep.
He says avoid 3D gaming too much. Of course, that adds a whole nother level of eye strain. Completely cut yourself off from gaming and everything else, and just have your own time to breathe and meditate every day. I agree with that. That is good advice. Take some time off, get your mind clear, separate yourself from all that jazz.
All you dads out there with the kids that are driving you nuts, the toilet is the greatest place you can go. Shut that door, lock it, pop in the headphones or whatever you need to do, and just say you're pooping. They don't know the difference.
I did see another article. This is a bonus. That's the end of my list there, but I'm going to give you a quick bonus I think we're good on time. Cut me off if we're not, Clint.
You're fired.
This guy, he got this thing. It's kind of like a generator, but it's not. It's actually a hardware/software device that you can hook to your bike, right? Like if you have a exercise bike, you can buy you a little cheap exercise bike, and this thing is called Cycle, Cykill, Cycle. And basically, it's a device that runs off of your wheel that's turning on that exercise bike, right? And you hook up your Xbox or your PC or whatever it is through that device, and you set your exercise program on it so that you have to pedal at a certain extent or it will shut off the power to your Xbox.
Okay.
And so if you're in the middle of gaming or whatever, of course, you can kind of keep a steady pace, he said, and you'll usually be good as long as you have your settings turned down, you know what I mean? But on certain games where it's not as intense, like maybe not intense first-person shooters, but like a campaign game, right? Then you can crank it up, so you kind of got to keep your pace up a little bit better. He said you can set it to where there's enough time where if you're in a panic situation, your brain stops pedaling, and that's okay. But then you'll look down and there's like a dial that goes like a circle that'll wind down to 2 little dots, and there's like 16 to start with. He said you'll look down, it'll be at 2 dots. You're about to shut off. You're in the middle of a game or whatever. You got to start pumping it to get it all the way back up to the safe zone. He said, it's almost like a video game in itself because it just adds like another level to the game I'm playing, and I'm not thinking about exercising.
Could you imagine playing DayZ running through on that? Just keeping
I
the
think
flow
that'd be a
going?
pretty cool idea. Yeah.
They could
As
definitely
long as
add it to some VR stuff.
And I think it's set up to where basically you time an exercise session on there. So if your time runs off, like say we're going to play for 2 hours, but I'm going to get a 30-minute session in while we're playing. Then it works for that 30 minutes. If I finish the exercise, it doesn't cut my Xbox off.
Oh, okay, so it's got
you get what I'm saying?
Shut off.
So it's not like
it keeps it going.
Yeah, or else you'd have to stop every time. You get what I mean? So yeah, it only works for the cycle you set it for, which I thought was a pretty cool little idea.
Yeah, that is cool. Then you could just keep sitting there and play after you're done. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, very
cool
awesome.
Beans.
I'm gonna have to take all that into account and start living healthier.
It's just small things. The little things like that can make a big adjustment, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna start running, Clinton.
We are. But before
I'm gonna
that,
start swiftly kicking you in the nads.
well, before all that, brother, I need to know what you got cooking.
Good looking.
What's cooking good looking? Master Chef at home, listening wherever you are. What's cooking good looking?
All right, well, welcome to another What's Cooking Good Looking, guys. And so I'm going to prove Ryan wrong here and say that this is not a high-carb meal.
Nice.
Okay? You don't have to go high-carb with Italian. Now, there is some carbs in it, obviously, but tonight we're talking about
pasta.
Yeah, well, you can always throw some pasta with an Italian dish. I mean, any kind you want, really. But I'm going to tell you how to make... Yes, sir.
Before you get started, I just want to throw it out there on record. I don't think we've done a What's Cooking since Christmas time. So
wow.
I've really missed it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to that intro and I just like, just getting one. I missed it. So it's good to good to have the segment back, Hunter.
And we're going to get fancy tonight.
Ooh, I like fancy.
Nice.
We're going to get fancy. I'm going to tell you how to make a stunning, as Gordon Ramsay would say, meatball and red tomato sauce.
We'll have Ryan bring his best goat.
Yeah, there you go. Well, these meatballs have no goat
My best
in them.
Goat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
These meatballs have
I'm on
no
the
goat.
homestead. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna tell you guys how to make a good meatball and red sauce. And one of my favorite things is making a red sauce for Natalie because she is Italian, and when I can impress my wife with Italian food and that's her culture, I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
You guys fight me, argue me. You're not gonna win this, okay?
I've had
I want
the
to tell
red
you,
sauce. It's good.
my mother-in-law's maiden name is Muscatello. It doesn't get more Italian than that, you know. So I'll tell you right now, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to talk. So we are going to start with our red sauce because you want to cook this down for a while you prep everything else.
Okay.
So first off, I want to tell you something you guys might not have known. Did you know that you sometimes need to be a snob about the ingredients you get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you know that there was such a snobbiness that could be made, a choice made in canned tomatoes?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not
No,
know that there
you
was a
did not.
snobby level to canned tomatoes.
I think I only knew this because you told me, but in the past.
Did I?
I mean,
Okay,
I know
well,
you taught us in the past how to make our own roasted tomatoes and turn them into sauce, and I loved that.
yes.
But
Okay.
I didn't know there was a certain level to the canned tomatoes themselves if you wanted to go canned.
Yes. Okay. So, canned is a good way to go. And in fact, I would recommend doing a mixture because I had fresh tomatoes in this sauce too. But when you
Okay.
do a mixture, it speeds up your cooking process because most of the time tomatoes have been partially cooked that are canned, and if not, they've built up a sugar content because they've been canned, and that helps your cooking process speed up. Plus, it adds more of a richness, and it's less watery. If you do your tomatoes completely from fresh, it tends to be a little more water content, so it takes a long time to reduce. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there is a tomato called San Marzano tomatoes. Okay, and
Okay.
what makes these different than any other canned tomato you're going to get is
They already sound more Italian.
it is a product of Italy. It's imported from Italy.
Okay.
And it's imported from a specific mountain in Italy that they get all these tomatoes from. So now whoa, hold up, Hunter. How much is this tomato sauce going to be? Right? I got to get these tomatoes. You can find these tomatoes canned at Walmart for $3 a can, guys. They're not that expensive. And they add such a richness and good bite to your tomato
Red
sauce.
sauce.
So so you look for those. There's a couple different brands. The one I use is a yellow can. It's called Cento, Cento. And they're just San Marzano product of Italy. It'll say right on the can. They're peeled and they're whole tomatoes. So you're gonna blend them if you don't have an immersion blender, which is the stick blender, right? That's what I use for all my sauces. So anyways, I get 2 cans of those, and they're pretty big size cans. They're not the small ones. They're the 28 ounce.
Okay.
And I get 2 of those, and then I get 2 diced tomatoes. Doesn't really matter the brand on these. Okay, just some diced tomatoes that have
You're just adding
Italian
some texture.
Yes, some Italian
Okay.
herbs mixed in is nice. You don't have to do that,
Ooh.
but I prefer it. So I got those 2. Those are my 2 canned products that's going in here. Then I take about 4 beefsteak tomatoes. You can use Roma, but you're going to use a little bit more. And I find they're a little more tough, so you definitely need to bake those off. And then, like I said, I'd prefer you bake any of these tomatoes off that you use because it's going to speed up your cooking process. So about 4 fresh tomatoes, 2 of those cans of Marzanos, and then 2 cans of the chopped tomato to add a little texture, like Ryan said.
What was the name of fresh tomato you said?
Yeah, it was just a fresh, like, beefsteak tomato, like
Beef steak. Okay.
the big boys. Okay.
Right.
If you're doing Romas, they're smaller, so maybe 8. You know what I'm saying? There's probably 2 to 1 beefsteak. Anyway, so you're gonna blend all that up, okay, and get it to a smooth consistency in a separate pot, and then you kind of want to get it warm, get it on a low heat to get it warm, kind of start bubbling for a little bit, and then in a separate pot, you're gonna want to get some shallot going. 2 medium to large shallots minced, and then 2 to 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, depending on how much you like garlic. Excuse me. You're going to mince all that up, put it in the pot with some olive oil, some red chili flake. Again, I just put a pinch in there, but if you like it a little zestier, go with your eye there on the red chili flake. And then I put some dry basil, dry oregano, and some dry Italian seasoning down in there. Probably, I'd say 2 teaspoons of each. Now, I'm going to urge you, if you can get fresh basil, do it, okay? For some reason, I was at the market that day. They had no fresh basil on the wall that they had the herbs. They didn't have it by the tomatoes where they usually have it, so I just went with dry. A little pro tip, if you're doing dry over fresh herbs, you want to do 3 to 1. So if it's 1 tablespoon of basil, you want to do 3 tablespoons of dry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a big difference, especially for the aromatics.
Right. And so I did a little bit of that in each, or in the oil, okay? And so then you're going to saute that until all your minced garlic and onions get really see-through, clear, and soft, so you can smell it. I mean, like
Are you sauteing
Ryan
that
said,
with a little bit of oil? Did I miss that?
olive oil. Yeah.
Olive oil. Okay.
Just enough to cut the bottom of the pan. And so, like Ryan said, aromatics, what he means by that is you're going to start to smell the onion and garlic really strong when it's cooking down, and when it gets to that point, you're probably good. And so what next you want to do is add some white wine to the pan to deglaze the pan. And that brings all the stuff off the bottom that's caramelized into the wine. It may flame. Sometimes wine isn't that high of an alcohol content to flame. As long as you cook it and bubble it for a second, it should burn the alcohol out. Me personally, I always just take a long stem lighter and light the sucker for a second. It just flares real quick, and then you know for sure your alcohol's burned off. And so once we're at that point, we've got like this clear, and you're probably doing like a half cup of wine, not a lot, just enough.
Okay.
If your pot's about this big, you want like that much on the bottom, the whole bottom of the pot, just enough to take the, like I said, deglaze the bottom, cover the bottom.
Right.
And so after you've hit this stage, now you can take your tomato puree and pour it in. Okay. Because you've developed all those flavors that are going to be in your sauce. At this point, if you had the fresh basil, just put full basil leaves in it. I mean, you don't have to chop them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just full basil leaves into your sauce, because it's going to bubble for quite a while. And then I always add probably about a tablespoon more of oregano, a tablespoon more of the Italian seasoning, and the dry basil, because I didn't have fresh. And so now you've got your pot or your sauce. The only other thing I add is kosher salt, and then I do a little bit of onion salt and garlic salt. And so I let that go, and that's going to bubble for quite a while. I mean, I think I bubbled it on a low medium yesterday for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Oh, really?
And so, but that's going to develop. You'll see the difference. When you first pour that tomato in there, it's almost a bright red. And then by the time your sauce is done, you have a deep, rich red. And so what has happened is the sugars have caramelized inside of your sauce, and the water has vaporized out of the steam because you've been cooking it for so long, and it thickens and condenses. But while that's doing that, you can make your meatballs, right? And so I took a recipe that Gordon Ramsay does, because I love that guy. And I just made a couple tweaks to it. Not that his wasn't perfect. Okay, don't come at me, Gordon. All right? But I just, personal preferences, I've made a couple. So what you're going to need for this is 6 tablespoons of white fine breadcrumbs, a little milk. It's going to be to soak your breadcrumbs. Let's see, 2 tablespoons, well, actually 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Let's see here. Black pepper and sea salt for taste. And then you're going to need I did a pound of ground beef and a pound of Italian sausage. And then parsley and Parmesan. About 4 tablespoons of Parmesan. And it said finely grated, but I honestly did the pretty rough cut Parmesan because I like the pockets of cheese in the meatball. And then you're going to need a little bit of flour just to dust the outside. So what that's going to look like is you're going to put your sausage and your beef into, obviously, a mixture together in a big bowl. And then you're going to take those breadcrumbs, and what I made the change to it is I added a little bit of Italian seasoning and onion and garlic powder to my breadcrumb. I didn't say to do that, but I did because I want a little more flavor in my meatballs. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your breadcrumb, and if you don't have, or like I went to the market the other day and I was a dummy and forgot to grab breadcrumb. So what I did is I took, we had a bunch of leftover hamburger buns. I put them in the oven to where they were like toast, really dried out. Let them cool. You don't want to do it hot because it'll add moisture back in because of steam. Let them cool and then run it through your blender. Get it really fine, and there's your breadcrumb.
Okay.
So you're going to put that in a bowl, and then you're going to add milk just to the top of it, like cereal, okay? Just to where it barely hits the top. Mix that in good with a spoon, and that's going to soak in. And you're going to let that soak for just a little bit because it'll really take it in fast. Those breadcrumbs will. And so after that, I had a great consistency when I did it yesterday, so I didn't have to do this. But if you have excess milk, you're just going to squeeze it, and it's going to get that excess milk out of the breadcrumb, okay?
Okay.
That's going to go straight into your meatballs, or your meat mixture, okay? Then you're going to do salt and pepper, a good amount. And then you're going to form those into about the size of a walnut, okay? Or maybe just a little smaller than a golf ball, or a golf ball size if you like them a little bigger. And then this next part, I've never done, until I started making them this way a while back. But you're actually going to take it and drop it in some flour and just coat the outside real light dust with flour. And then you're going to saute these and brown them in some olive oil on the stovetop. Okay. And so what that's going to do is seal your meatball in. It's going to give it a sear, and so that the juices just don't run all out of the raw meat when they're in the hot oven. So you're going to sear. It gives it a little bit of texture on the outside that's not just going to be mush. It's got kind of a golden fry to the outside. And don't picture like a fried meatball. That's not what it's going to look like. It's just going to have a brown coating on the outside of your meat, like you got a good sear on it. And then you put those all in a pan. You're going to take your sauce that's finished, okay? And then you're going to ladle it over the top and throw that in the oven. I highly recommend that you give a liberal amount of Parmesan to the top of that, or sliced provolone. Put a bunch of that over the top. And then that's going to go in the oven at 375 for about 10 to 15 minutes till it gets bubbly.
Okay.
Because your sauce and your meatballs are already warm. They're partially cooked, the meatballs are, so it's not going to take that long. And so when they're done, you can pair them with any pasta you want. We had so many leftovers that tonight Natalie was making meatball subs.
That's what I was going to say, meatball
in a
sub,
hoagie. Yeah, with some provolone on top. And so, man, these are just, they're great, and it makes you feel like a top-tier chef.
How big are you making these meatballs?
I made it about golf ball size, and the reason why is I knew Natalie would probably use them in a sandwich, and you want it to be manageable in a sandwich. Now, if you're going for like restaurant fancy appeal style, a lot of times those guys will do baseball size meatballs, right? And so I would recommend, if you're doing that you do the sear still, the best to your ability, because it's going to be kind of hard to pick that thing up when it's not cooked. And then throw it on a cooking sheet and put it in the oven without the sauce to cook through. Then you can add your sauce and maybe cook for a little longer in the oven to get the sauce to coat, right? But
I actually
you don't
prefer
want
the
to put
golf
it
ball size, because they're like perfect for taking half of one with each bite of your pasta or whatever you're eating.
Yes.
Like those ones. Yeah.
I know a lot of the rustic style now with new Italian restaurants popping up are to just do massive meatballs. It's like you have your pasta and you only have 2 or 3 with your meal because they're like this big.
Right.
I've seen that.
And so that is a trend. Size. But you have to make sure you're cooking it through because you're working with ground beef,
Right.
And some people will eat it a little medium, and that's okay because people are doing that now with burgers. But you got the pork in there too, so you got to make sure you're cooking those through all the way. So if you're making a bigger one, I would just suggest cooking it all the way through. Check with a thermometer, and then you can coat your sauce. But yeah, that's we made these last night, and I just wanted to share them with you. And man, they were so good. The texture inside because of the breadcrumb that you've soaked. It's not too, it holds together, but when you bite through, man, it's just so smooth. I don't know how to explain it. You don't feel like you're eating breading. It feels like the whole thing's meat, obviously, because it mostly is.
Right.
But it's so smooth that it just runs with your pasta. I don't know if you've ever had a dry meatball.
Oh, yeah.
Where it just feels like somebody put a hamburger patty in your... You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so
it's
that
not really a meatball. It's a hamburger chunk.
No, this is nothing like that. And the texture on these are so amazing. They just melt in your mouth. And so...
Well, that's just like if you take those, those frozen meatballs you can get.
Yeah.
Which I don't dislike them. But if you were to take those and bake them, like it recommends on the package, you get those they get kind of firm and dry. If
Super
you cook
dry.
them in a crock pot with the sauce, they're the bomb.
Right.
They're good for some frozen ones, but they're a whole different story. I can't do
I
the dry
agree with
meatball.
you. Yeah. But even when you do those over the market, when there's such a spring back, it's almost like a rubber.
Yeah.
And there is a certain spring back you want in this, but man, these are so good, guys. They just, I mean, they're great. I did the Italian.
Now I'm
If
gonna
you
have to
guys
make some
can't see this, but I
meatballs.
did the Italian.
But without the
It's just
breadcrumbs because I'm a
spicy
carnivore.
meatballs.
But we'll see how they come out.
And I gotta go find some gluten-free, fake breadcrumbs and see if that'll even stand.
Oh
I
yeah, I
need to
bet you
see-
can use panko. Panko is rice breadcrumbs. That's gluten free.
Yeah.
You could definitely use panko.
It probably won't have the same taste, but hey,
No, it will. If you
So
soak
there's
it.
not much
and then
flavor to the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, if you soak it and you
They're
put
more of a binder, right?
Yeah, if you soak it and then you put the Italian flavors in there, like I said, you won't be able to tell. I doubt. I don't know if the consistency will be so smooth because it is panko, but I mean it's going to be so close that,
Right.
I used to, little backstory on frozen meatballs, Ryan. My grandma used to make those for us all the time, and one day she made them for us, and I got so sick. I don't know if it was from the meatballs. I think I may have just got the flu or something after that. I was young. But because of that,
you right up here.
I cannot eat frozen meatballs. I could do meatballs if, even at the restaurants. If Natalie orders meatballs, I don't order them at restaurants. But if she orders them, I have to, open it and look first. And make sure it looks like a good quality one before I eat it. Because in my brain, I just can't. If they're frozen, I can't do it.
That's funny.
So.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
There is some bypass to that, though. If they're like teriyaki or barbecue meatballs, for some reason I can get around that a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah, I like those frozen ones in some barbecue sauce. Almost like Little Smokies. You just cook them in the crock pot with some barbecue sauce.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. But yeah, guys, that's it. If you want to be fancy, this really doesn't... It takes a long time, but it's not hard. It takes a little love, but when you put some extra love into a dish, you're going to get some extra love out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Your wives will appreciate it,
Yeah.
Natalie tasted that sauce at the end of the night when I was done cooking it, and she was like, "This is one of the best sauces I've ever had." She said, "I haven't had a red sauce this good in years." And I was like,
Yes.
I'm accomplished. I'm an accomplished chef. If I can cook for a true 100% blood Italian, and she's praising my red sauce, I've done something right.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's good, man. Well, we'll see if I can ever make that. That sounded like it does like the next step up from what I probably am capable of doing, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's
I
like an
tried
invite
it.
Hunter over to make some sauce for you.
Yeah.
right. See, that's what
need-
happens. I go over there to teach, and I don't end up teaching. I just cook for him. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
exactly
well,
what
I'm the professional chef that's coming over here to just
well,
cook
there's
Clinton a meal.
distractions that happen, the kids and all that. So then it's like, well, I'm just glad you're here, Hunter, and you cook, man. Thank you.
Yep.
They kind of made it sound like I use you, and I don't. So I better promise I love you.
Ryan, you're not here anymore.
And
I'm here.
he's back.
Oh, there you go. You said something and nothing came through. So.
I think I reversed when I clicked mute and unmute. I was muting and unmuting the opposite.
Oh, I got
So-
you.
Oh, yeah.
I actually was trying to mute it while I moved the mic just now, and then I realized it was unmuted while I moved the mic. So,
Right. It's going bop, 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 bop.
sorry, guys.
Hey, we always, someone does it, So it's all good. Well, that was a good show. We went over games. We hit healthy lifestyle with gaming. I think those are some good tips we can use. And, Hunter's got us hooked up on the Italian dish. So
yeah.
I'm kind of wanting to go eat some of that now, but I can't. So If you listen to the podcast, you might want to do it early in the morning. That way you can prepare when you hear these What's Cooking segments. Because if you're listening at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to be kind of sad.
Yeah.
Then you can
You're
call
gonna be
into
so
Walmart,
hungry.
have your food ready to pick up on the way home, your groceries, then go home,
Right.
grab them, and prepare a special dinner for the wife.
I always
Or
torture
for the
myself.
husband, because you might be a girl listening. Plenty of moms listen. This is Delirious
Yeah.
Dads Gaming, but that just means we're Delirious Dads. It's
That's
not only
right.
for Delirious
It's
Dads.
open to anybody who wants to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
so I was saying, I always punish myself. I end up watching like the Food Network at 10 or 11 at night, just on the couch.
Oh,
And then
rough.
Guy
Yeah.
Fieri's walking through and trying all these things, and I'm like, I'm hungry as heck right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I just
bet.
can't watch. I can't watch Food Network when I'm fasting on one of
Yeah, I
those
was going to
days.
say, especially if you're fasting, don't do it. It's awful. Goodness. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, you can check out others on iTunes, Google Play. You can also check it out on our website, www.deliriousdadsgaming.com. We actually have a catalog there where you can scroll through and pick out the episodes you want right there from the website. You don't even need to download the episode. You can actually stream it from our website. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can check us out over on www.patreon.com/DeliriousDadsGaming. Entries start at $3, but it's $3 a month just to support the show if you're into it. If not, we'll still be here with free content every week.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hopefully that we just hope our content contributes to your day and your week. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to create, content that you guys, you have it and it's like, that added to what was going on in my life. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. We're just dads like you
yeah.
that have a passion for making things happen within gaming and kind of that dad life of, hey, you're not the only dad out there, and here's some dads that enjoy gaming just like you. That's probably the biggest thing,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we may be having some big events coming up. We're gonna have to check our schedule, but Johnny Icy Chiller Weaver, as I like to call him, just throw the whole name, the gaming name, and the real name in there. We're gonna go over. I'm gonna talk to him. He's wanting us to come to some events, and do some gaming, talk about it. There's actually a big one coming up in OKC. We'll see if we can make it.
Yeah, isn't that the end of this month?
I think, but then on here he said 3/7, so at OCU. So
Okay, there's one the end of this month too, like the 28th or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to be at a wrestling
I was-
tournament, so I won't be there.
Okay.
That was my scheduling issue.
That's
I'll be up
right.
at
I knew
state.
there was something going on for that one. Yep.
Yep. So I'll be doing that with my nephew, but after that, I think maybe the other one we probably need to talk about trying to make it if we can.
He said, I think the Thunder event one is in the 20, because he said if y'all can't make it to the Thunder event, 3/7 at OCU, we have an esports combine for high school kids.
Oh, okay.
So 3/7 is
Gotcha.
for that, and then the one Ryan's talking about is the Thunder event. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right. I think
So,
so.
yeah, so the Thunder event, and actually that is going to happen if you're in the Oklahoma state area. That's actually going to happen on the 29th. And
Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yep, that's right. And then the OCU esports event is going to be occurring on 3/7, it looks like. And all those involve possible scholarships for your kids. They can go in and enter, play tournaments, and you can just, it's kind of networking and communication, but the colleges are a part of that. And so it's definitely going to be a good hotbed for gaming enthusiasts, especially if your kids are into it. You could probably even take your young kids there if they're into gaming and spark their passion with that. So definitely a good idea to go to. And of course, we always like talking to Johnny, so we'll stay in touch with him and find out more as we move forward into the year. With that said, we also got our YouTube channel. You can go check that out. We're starting to put out some gaming stream videos that are more on the comedic side, but we enjoy posting them. And we've had fun with some of those
like
streams.
trimmed down highlight videos.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sit through the whole stream. If you just kind of want to check out what have the Delirious Dads been up to on the actual gaming side of things, you can check those out.
Yep. Our most recent video is Consequences. We learned that certain member of the team learned that you don't take out certain people in DayZ because it can bite you later on in your gaming experience.
Definitely.
Yep. Well, I think I've said all I've got to say on my end.
All right, guys. I guess that means you need to stay delirious.
Stay dadding.
And stay gaming. This has been a Delirious Dads production. For more information about the show, visit our website at www.deliriousdadsgaming.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/deliriousdadsgaming, twitch.tv, and YouTube. Make sure you like and share our pages to help us grow the channel. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Please leave a rating and review if you enjoy the show. Thank you again for listening, and we hope to see you next time.